So I feel like everybody knew what I was going to talk about in this episode. I feel like my obsession was clear last week. I made that clear. But just in case you are new here, I am currently obsessed with ThamePo. That is the drama that I am currently watching. It's a BL series from Thailand, and I have not been able to think about anything else. So this episode is going to be a continuing review of ThamePo. Currently, we are on episode 10, and I feel like this show just keeps getting better. Like, I feel like it can't really get better than this, and it just keeps getting better, and I am so happy. And so yeah, this episode is going to be covering Tempo episode 10, and looking at what has happened in this past episode. And this is me just telling you how I feel about this drama, because I have obviously not talked about it enough, and I never will. And like I said, I feel like this drama is going to go down as easily the best of the best BL drama for me for 2025, and it's only February. So yeah, let's get right into it. So last week, the end of last week, we saw that Tame and Paul finally won. They became one in Poe's apartment, and now this is a kind of not a climax, but it is one highlight to their relationship. I no pun intended on what I just said, but it is one high point in their relationship. They are now boyfriend and boyfriend, and it's so sweet. It was kind of a lot of sugar in episode 9 that I loved. There was a lot of sugar, a lot of spice, and I loved it so much. Again, I just go back and rewatch episode 9, because that kiss scene, or those two kiss scenes that they have, is spectacular. It's phenomenal. It's different. It's given that I should not be watching this, right? It's given that, like, I might never recover from this. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of where we ended last week. They kind of, have not consummated their relationship, and it's beautiful and everything, right? And so in episode 10, when we begin, we see them kind of like in bed together, and Tim is staring at Poe and saying he's cute, and it's just so sweet, sweet things. And then just as all that is going on, and how we are all kind of trying to enjoying this sweet moments, you know, shit hits the fan quickly, very very quickly. Like, I feel like I didn't get enough of them being lovey-dovey since the June era had ended up to now, where they are now like in this shitstorm called Thai BL fans, or just BL fans in general. Because oh my god, talk about toxic. This is what I mean when I say that, like, I could no longer keep following K-pop idols because the stan culture is the worst thing I'd ever experienced. Like, I'd only been watching dramas my whole life, watching K dramas, since I was like 16, and to an extent I never really knew that there was such a world where all those things was going on, and people were like literally thinking that these idols belong to them in some way. But finally, when I got into K-pop and BTS, I started to see just how bad it was. And like, I could no longer like be on Twitter and just like, you know, in that world, because it was just so toxic. And that's kind of a hint of what they give us here, in that Pepper is embroiled in dating rumors. I feel like we all knew this was coming, because, like, obviously this would not have been mentioned if it was not going to be a plot device down the line, right? But anyways, he has been caught holding hands with a girl, and people are freaking out. Like, the fans of Mars are freaking out and doing the most. And when I say doing the most, I don't mean to laugh, because it's not funny, it's very toxic. But when I look at these fans, I realize how like clownish they are, like how like just dumb these people are. Because what do you mean you're tearing off all your posters? You bought those posters with your money. You turn that off does not do anything to the person. You've already given them your money, right? But anyways, you see people like tearing off their poster. I at least thought that like Post friend was an okay person, until she also like decided to be deranged, because then she like takes an hiatus on the fan account that she's running for them, and she's talking about how like she's hurt. And in my mind, like, I don't mean to laugh, it's not funny, but it's just kind of like the absurdity of it is what's funny, right? And so yeah, that takes hold, and we kind of see Pepe and Gam go through this break up because of that. What makes it interesting is because this is kind of speaking to a larger issue of how this is probably going to affect Tame and Poe's relationship down the line, because it's just like a mirror of what they will go through, just maybe even worse because they are gay, right? And so, we see the scene where Tame goes and he confronts the CEO. And for once, even though I do not like Pemika, their CEO, I understood kind of how things work. I understood capitalism in that moment, right? Because she's the ultimate capitalist, right? She tells like Tim that it is because of your relationship with Poe that's on the verge of being exposed that I had to like sacrifice Pepper's relationship with Gam, because at least he's dating a girl. You're dating a guy, yours is gonna be way, way worse, right? And you're more popular, right? And so that is kind of the lens she's seeing, and she's like, you're valuable and I will protect what's valuable. And that is a factual thing. Like, companies will protect their valuable assets from anything. That's why like a lot of the biggest stars, are like spotless. But they can't all be spotless. They all have to have issues because they are human, right? But they are so spotless that you start to question why. And it's because their companies are like putting in all this money, PR, effort into making sure they are spotless, right? And so that is what Pemika does in this case. She sacrifices Pepe and Gam to protect Tame's image, right? To protect Tame's value, because he's their money maker and everything. And unfortunately, throws them under the bus, right? But again, all this is to say that when shit does hit the fan for them, it's gonna be way worse, right? It's gonna be terrible, because you can imagine people finding out about Tim and Poe. I mean, it's going to be disastrous, right? But yeah, that is something that obviously Poe is worried about, right? Poe sees Pepper and Gam, who are such a cute couple, who understand each other almost to a perfect degree, and this is how this can push them apart, right? And he's scared, rightfully, right? You see the same way he's talking to Gam, and Gam is trying to be like, maybe you will be different, right? Maybe you will not have the same experience I did, right? But you can see kind of in Poe's look that he thinks that this is something that's gonna come back to them as well. This is something that they will have to go through. They will have to break up at the end of the day, because of Tame's dream and Mars, right? And so that is what he is worried about. And I really like how the actor S is able to kind of show that in his face. You can see his like resignation already coming in. And like, if there's one thing I would like to say about this drama, is that I really like how this drama has been able to kind of show us Poe's character and show us that Poe is a very sensitive soul. He had an ex-boyfriend who kind of ended the relationship in a bad way. He broke up with him, in a kind of like, in a way that Poe still hasn't recovered from that kind of breakup, and he's still kind of hurt by that, and he kind of does not want a repeat of that, right? And so Poe, you can tell, is a very sensitive person, whereas Tim, I would say, is more of a fighter. Tim fights for what he believes in, and all of that fighting he's done up to this point actually has been because Poe has been kind of assisting him to understand his feelings more. But Tim is more of a fighter. He wants to fight for his group, fight for his relationship and stuff like that. Whereas Poe is more, I will sacrifice myself for the greater good, right? And I think I like the fact that even though right now where we are at, they're still okay and everything, you just know what is coming because you can see it on Poe's face. I have a sense that Poe is most likely going to be the one to end the relationship because of Tame's group and Mars and everything, right? I feel like it's if I was the one writing this, what I would do is have Pemika be the one to kind of like break them up, and that's all I have to do is like tell Poe that like you're ruining Tame's career, you're ruining Mars's career, and I feel like Poe is kind of person that will give up his relationship for the greater good, or what he considers the greater good. Where I think that Tame would want to fight for it, right? And I think that's where this is going. You can already kind of see in that last scene where you see them in with the billboard that has a perfect all kill. You see that Poe is looking at that and he's kind of looking at it in a resigned manner, right? And that is something that I know it's coming, and I'm so sad for it. And you can already see that Poe is dreading that, right? When he was talking to Gam, he like talks about how like why are they trying and all these things. He wants to cry, and so you see that he sees it as a kind of reflection on the fact that his own relationship also would not work out. And so I'm really, really sad that that is coming. But what can we do? Again, back to those fans because I have to talk about them just a bit more. I find them to be the most ridiculous things ever. The scene where after they had the press conference and Pepe basically pretends like he never really dated. um, and that's when the fans like start doing all these things that, oh, how dare they hurt Pepe like this, blah 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 blah. Like the way I wanted to reach into the screen and smack all of them, like you guys don't understand because it made no sense that okay, so it's after you hear that okay, all this that you're like okay, now I want to support him. How they put him like that, blah blah blah, like as if they were not the ones dogpiling on him in the first place. It's kind of very irritating that the only time that they are willing to defend him is after they hear he's not actually with this girl. If they had actually thought that he was, they would have torn him apart. And I've seen this happen with so many idols when they find out they're in a relationship and they like tear them apart. Like relationships are killers, right? Because these fans think and this is the part that kills me. These fans think they like I think they think they have a shot. Which is the most absurd thing. Some of them are not even in that country and they think they have a shot. Like, how is that possible? Like, I don't get it. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, right? A lot of it too is the company's double down attitude on these matters, right? When things bad happen, when the fans get crazy, the company will basically side with the fans and do things that kind of okays what the fans are doing, right? So for example, when by friend, right, post friend decides she wants to rest her account, which is like gonna hate us because she's protesting the relationship of Pepe, right? A normal company is not supposed to care about that, right? A normal company is supposed to ban her from all possible future events and find somebody else that is willing to do that job and run the fan club and everything, right? But no, they give them authority, they give them kind of like power over these idols, right? So they are the ones kind of dictating. If you were as a company saying that, I don't care, right? And there are some companies like that, especially in like the BL world. There are some companies like BOC that, GMMTV once in a while, that will kind of say, I don't care about what these fans think. We're going to do it this way. BOC, I would say, is number one. GMMTV wavers. In fact, they waver more than they do not waver, right? But I would say companies like BOC, you can't do some things to their idols and they'll be okay with it. They will call you out on it, right? And they will see if they really have to, right? And so, I think it's possible for a company to be like this and still retain fans. I do think it's possible because at the end of the day, what you're doing is drawing the fans that are better, the fans that are not unhinged to you, right? Because are the kind of people that will follow you. Because all the ones that are like crazy will know that this company does not play. They'll know this company does not play. Like if you go to the front of their company and start holding up signs that kick out Pepper, whatever nonsense this, fans always do. They'll be the one to call security and have you removed, right? So that's what I mean when I'm talking about like I feel like if companies would just realize that they have more power than they think, that these fans will watch anyone, like they will watch these people regardless, right? Even if Pepper has a girlfriend, it doesn't mean anything. Like you can kind of dictate the narrative here, right? You don't have to just like throw in the towel and fold every time, right? But they always do, and that kind of gives power to those fans to keep exhibiting those bad behaviors, right? So that's something that I really, really disliked, and that's something that I just thought is coming up because now that Pemika knows about Tim and Paul, even though I like to an extent, this show is very good at kind of not saying anything. You do know that the fact that Tame is in a relationship and it's with a guy is problematic, right? And so I do wonder how this will play out in the next episode because I imagine that in the next episode it's gonna all go down, right? It's all going to shit next episode, and even though I'm kind of dreading it, I really really want to watch them break up kind of because that kind of thing is very interesting to me. I love entertainment like that, right? It's gonna be fun, even though like I'll be sad and everything. But I kind of want to see that. I want to see how Tame tries to like make it work Even though Paul is going to be like, oh no, I think we should break up. And Tim is like, oh no, I love you. You can't do this. Let's be like, that all that thing is so interesting to me. So I am really looking forward to how William and S will act this in the next episode, because I am kind of like in love with these two people right now. I feel that they are the prime creme de la creme when it comes to acting, and there are very few people in GMMTV that give me that sense of like, oh, these people are good actors. Gun is one, Nanon is another one, but generally I'm not a fan of a lot of GMM TV acting. So yeah, this is something I am super super excited about. I don't want this to end though. Like it's coming, but I really don't want this to end. But anyways, yeah. That's basically it. It's about to be very interesting. It's about to, hit the climax, and I hope that we have enough like time after they do break up and get back together to see them kind of be together and be in love and be happy, right? Because I would not like this also all just be angst. I refuse all angst, right? I cannot watch Paul be sad for the next 3 episodes or however many episodes there are left. So I need them to like break up and then get back together and be like extremely sweet and happy to the end of this drama. That's what I need. So yeah, looking forward to it. Oh, this drama is so good. I don't know what else to say. I am loving it so much. I feel that like it can do no wrong. I have to say I am very, 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 very impressed with the like crew of this, the director, the writer, the producer. I don't know how like I don't have to explain how much I love the color of this as well. It's so good, right? It's so good. There's a lot of just like just moments that I want to capture on my phone, like screenshots worthy moments, right? That I want to capture the color of it, right? It has this kind of grungy look to it, kind of dark look to it, but it's so beautiful and I love it so much. I also love the music. I love how the music is used. It's not loud, right? There are not a lot of like or even any sound effects, which I love. And if you know anything about GMM is that they do love their sound effects in their dramas. But thankfully, this is not a comedy or anything, so you don't have any of those, right? It's just so well done. Like I wish I could like fly or swim to Thailand and like hug the director and the writer of this because they've got this down, right? Like they've got this like so well done. I am so 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 impressed with this drama. Like no one understands. Like this is easily one of the best dramas I've ever watched from GMM TV. Like period. And yeah, so that's really all I have in this episode. I could probably go on and on, but I will stop here. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. As always, I enjoy making these reviews. And yeah, until next week. Thank you guys again. Have a lovely one. Bye.